Okay? So we're going to start here. Logic. What are we talking about when we use this word, right? Logic, very simply, is just the art and science of reasoning to discover truth. Animals can't do this. This is unique for man, human beings. It involves thinking through things you hear and observe and then coming to a conclusion on it. Okay? This is something we're in dire need of right now in American culture, right? Is using logic and reasoning. And the Bible uses it all the time. That one in Romans is very interesting because in Romans, what Paul is literally saying is, you know why you should present yourself as a slave to Jesus Christ, a living sacrifice? Because it's reasonable. He doesn't say because it's virtuous. He doesn't say because you'll stand out and you'll feel like you have a fulfilled life. It's like saying to my kids, you know why you should take the trash out? You live here and I'm buying your food, so it's reasonable that you take the trash out, right? Paul is literally saying the reason to surrender your life and live for Jesus Christ is because it's reasonable. So I don't think we understand this is no big deal to be a follower of Jesus Christ. It just makes sense. It's logical.
I just want to share this real quick. When I think about being a saved man, nobody was forcing me to come to know the Lord Jesus. And it's the only thing that's ever made sense to me. Read the Word of God. Because we know the Word says He's not the God of confusion.
Right.
It all just makes sense. Nothing else does.
I know, you look at, we talk about this in class all the time, and we go through basic things in life like marriage, raising kids. It's all a Christian worldview, and that's the things they're trying to destroy. The reason, though, we use logic is we should care about truth. You can't get to truth without logic. When we think about this verse, when Peter says this in 1 Peter 3:15, sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, always be ready to give a defense to everyone who asks you a reason for the hope that's in you with meekness and fear. That word sanctify literally means you're setting apart or dedicating, you're making Jesus Christ sacred in your life. So that you're ready with a reasoned argument or answer for what you think and are convicted by. The things inside that you hold as truth, you should be able to explain that to other people. And that hope is different than faith. Hope is that expectation you have of God. Hey, you promised me, Lord. You made these promises, and I don't believe in your promises. I believe in you. And because of your character, I expect your promises to happen. It's a whole different way of thinking. And with reverence, because you understand the judgment of God. I heard a pastor preach on this. I was very disappointed because he turned that into being afraid of the culture. You should speak your faith knowing that the culture will make you feel afraid. And that's not what it means in this verse. It means literally godly fear. You're doing it because of Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That's what it's talking about here. So, I got a question for you guys. You look at this verse. What's the key, the absolute key in this verse, in order to use logic in explaining your faith? What would you say it is? Some of you know the answer. Anybody want to guess? Most people, when they say this verse, you know what they do? They begin by saying, always be ready to give a defense. I don't know if you've ever heard somebody quote 1 Peter 3:15. They say, oh yeah, that's the apologetic verse. Always be ready to give a defense. Peter says, no. If you don't sanctify Christ in your life, your defense is useless. The verse starts by saying the most important thing in life is Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior. When He's your Lord and Savior, you're just talking about to someone else about your reason for why you're a Christian.
I've always heard it. I use the verse that says, give an account for the hope that lies within you.
Right. It's the same thing, that word reason or an account. And so what it is a foundation for your faith, because the evidence He provides us is not to prove that He exists. God is not looking for a bunch of defense attorneys. He's not going, man, I'm in a tough spot. I hope I get a lot of smart people to go out there and make me look good, right? He could care less. What he wants are witnesses, not defense attorneys. He wants people to just tell others what they know. And this verse is all about that. I love what Einstein said, and this is one of the problems. We look at our culture and we feel judgmental and we say these things. I get it. It's gone to hell, yeah. But it's just as bad in our churches. Because to know that something's true, you have to question things. If you just soak in what people are telling you, that's not your truth. You're just saying what someone else says. So what would be better? What would be better? To be taught what to think or to be taught how to think? Right? And in church, a lot of times we're told what to think. If we don't do the homework ourselves and understand our faith that we have that's personal, we're at the mercy of whoever's teaching us. And that's what's happening in universities. I always get a chuckle out of all these kids with banners over the railing, hundreds and hundreds at Harvard, screaming against Israel, and they're like 19 years old. I'm like, what do you guys know? You guys don't even know how to make your bed yet. And you're trying to tell me that you're an expert on the Middle East, right? Because they're taught what to think.